Hi, this is Rori, and I wanted to talk with you about anxiety and being an anxious relationship style woman and what that is and how you can live with that in a wonderful, beautiful way. Most of us are anxious attachment style. How'd that happen, right? How did we get this anxious thing? Well, first of all, the style of dating has changed over the years and boxed us women in. They've made us feel and believe that we are not in charge of our own lives, that in order to be in charge of our own lives, we have to be brittle and hard and, cactuses, not ferns. And we have to state boundaries, which I do not go for boundaries. I'll do a whole video on boundaries. You can probably look it up and see when I've got one for that, and also put in the comments what you could possibly feel about boundaries and anxiety, and that way I can go into more detail. So anxiety and the anxious response comes from a survival instinct. It's like, if you don't want to date me, I will die. It's that simple. It feels like it, doesn't it? Anxiety is fear. So fear that something is going to happen. The real terror doesn't kick in because the anxiety is your pot of feelings. The lid is shaking. Like instead of the terror that's inside the soup of your feelings. This is, by the way, in all my programs, to really understand the soup of feelings that's sort of in your central self. And there's a lid on it, or a lid off of it. And if the lid is on and it's kind of boiling in there and rattling, that's your anxiety. You can't actually feel the fear. You're just feeling the anxiety about the fear and all the other emotions that are building up in you. And my goal here with all these videos and all of my programs is to help you believe and realize and experience that you are capable, more than capable. You are super powerful, that you are capable of feeling and connecting with all of your own feelings, no matter how deep and terrifying and uncomfortable they may think to, or they may feel like for a moment. Knowing that you can handle those feelings and experience them is what brings you joy. It's like you can't touch your joy if you can't touch the terror and the pain. And that's basically what therapy is about. But in my book, it's not about going back into time and reliving those horrible situations. It is feeling the fear and the terror and the upset in the moment that you're feeling. If you're feeling it right now and feeling emotional pain, you need to feel it. And we need to get used to the idea that we are able to feel this tremendous welling of energetic feeling that doesn't feel good a lot of the times, and still pop right back up into our wonderful, happy selves. This is the way it works, because the happy selves are right next door to the miserable selves. It's that we hang out in the I don't want to feel any of it realm, and we put the lid on our soup of feelings, and we either get depressed, or it shakes and we get anxious, or we just decide there's some feelings we can handle in there, like anger or self-blame. That's one, right? If I blame myself, I don't have to feel the other stuff. I don't have to feel the pain of what has happened in my relating to other people in my life. So this is deep, and believe it or not, a coach can work with you on this. Doesn't need to be a deep therapist in my book. Unless you have some, serious trauma that could use some really modern therapeutic techniques, and I totally believe in that. But for things like dating and anxiety, coach can fix that for you, right? Because you can fix it, because anxiety is just the lid shaking. So we all feel it, right? So why pretend you don't? What's wrong with being anxious? Nothing. Don't try to hide it. Feel it. I'm anxious. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling nervous that you're not going to call me. I'm feeling nervous that I'm really getting attached to you now that we've had sex. And, you know, you're going to decide I'm not the right one, or you're going to move to another country, or anything could happen. And all of a sudden you feel bereft. It's that abandonment feeling that we all feel. We've all experienced. And that is part of your superpower, because you can feel it and you've had it in your background. So once you get used to, oh, I may feel anxious, and you can say to a guy, I'm a little bit anxious. I have a little bit anxious attachment style, whatever that is. And I like to be called a lot. I'm sort of high maintenance, and I'm proud of it. And 9 times out of 10, a guy will go, wow, I'm in. That's shocking, right? Wow, I'm in. Because he's tired of women who tell him they're fine without him. Tell him they're fine, everything's okay. It's like, what can I do to be a hero? And here you are saying, call me a lot, and you'll be my hero. Trust that I'm okay, even though I'm shaking and I'm feeling anxious. Hold me a lot. Men are going to jump at that. This is not about being demure and, you know, helpless. This is about being so strong that you can show the whole world, allow them to see you shake, to see that anxiousness and that grief that passes through us all and is deep in the core of all of us. Grief, you know, COVID, lockdown caused so much grief of missing out on life and connection, and many of us have not even recovered from that. He may not have. So saying, you know, I'm feeling anxious, therefore I'm not going to be your girlfriend until, you know, we know exactly what's going on here, and I don't want to put pressure on the relationship. Back to circular dating, right? But I really want you to know that anxiety is like, okay, just own it. Just own it. You have a lot of other things about you that are super strong and super resilient. You're okay with some anxiety, okay? You're even okay with a meltdown here and there. You just want to own it and be open to it. And I have a feeling that you're going to be shocked at how many men just come running to you once you own that. Please leave a comment and let me know what's going on with you so I can help you directly, or direct you to an article that's on the website, or a program or something like that. To get more relationship advice, check out this video next.